Kevin, William, it's a pleasure to meet you both. How are you today?
Good, mate.
Good.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm so good because I fucking loved this movie. I'm so excited to talk to you both about it. It
Yes.
is so good. And one of the things I truly, truly loved about it is that it reminded me how much horror can be fun. It doesn't have to be all
Right.
doom, gloom, blood, and gore. So I'm curious to know whether you two have a horror experience you've watched or anything that you find fun. And what is it about comedy and horror that, even though they seem kind of different, kind of work so well together?
You're seeing humans at when you see someone at the brink of something, someone who's when you're on the edge
Mhm.
of something, great humor could come out of that, right? And there's nothing more than people want to see than like we had said before.
Yeah.
Traffic always slows down next to a car accident because you want to know what happened. We run to the TV when something horrible happened in the world, but this is in a safe setting, right? And like myself being a 6'6", 260-pound man, screaming at the top of my lungs when I see this adorably terrifying
Yeah.
thing. I think Matt and Tyler really blend that
They
perfectly.
do. They do a great job of it. And I think too, just uh, when you get scared in real life and you find out, oh, it was just a cat, you usually start
That's
laughing.
funny. Yeah,
You know what I mean? You
yeah.
usually start laughing. So it's just always a great blend, like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. I'm
Yeah.
tripping. So they do a great job of pulling on the heartstrings and, layering in the comedy, layering in the horror, layering in the
Yeah.
mystery, and you have a good time. That's why I say Abigail is definitely a rewatch. And the way you felt is the way we felt making it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Do you guys have any horror movies that you go to that like, okay, this is my fun. I'm going to watch this to enjoy it despite it being a horror film?
Mine is Chucky, always. I love Chucky growing up.
Yeah.
Chucky used to have me lying and scared at the same time. I said had me lying. I mean, had me laughing. had me laughing and lying and scared at the same
Oh
time.
my god! For me, my all-time is it's The Shining. Jack Nicholson. Not necessarily funny, but insanely creepy and beautifully horrifying. And yeah, The Exorcist. That was just
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
was crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Those were mine.
And then you never want that feeling when you leave a scary movie like, that sucked. You want to leave like, I was scared, I was interested. I like, wow, I'm gonna tell my friends about it. So
Yeah,
I think we've done a great job in this one.
yeah.
I think so too. I think so too. I love the fact that the nicknames you guys get, because I'm a big fan of Reservoir Dogs, so I like the idea of nicknames for characters. Is the
Yeah.
Rat Pack. Like that is so cool. What were your nicknames growing up? Or did you have a nickname that sort of stuck with you that you're like, okay, hey, that's pretty cool. That personifies me the most.
Well, mine's tatted on my arm. It's Bebe, because my sister didn't know how to say baby. So she would say, Mommy, let me see the baby. And then for the longest, everybody would call me Bebe, and I didn't know my name was William Henry Catlett the fourth. Until the teacher said, William, I was like, who is that? Well, yeah, that was my nickname growing up.
Bebe,
Bebe,
but
yeah.
you're William Henry Catlett the
the
fourth.
fourth.
Wow. My nickname for the last probably ever since I did a movie called Mystery Alaska has been Tree. But before that, when I was a rapper, a lot of people used to call me MC Big Head, and it was because I was 6'6", and there was I had no weight on me, but I had this giant
Yeah, hey,
cranium,
yeah.
so they call me MC Big Head.
And now the
MC Big
body's
Head.
caught up.
Yeah. So that's why he
Now the
filled out,
muscles.
That's what
Yeah,
happened.
it's like, yeah, I'm sick of
Start
that.
eating steak,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Guys, I'm getting the wrap now, but like I said, I love this movie so much. I love Matt and Tyler's films, and this is just so much fun. I'm always trying to convince non-horror lovers to come see horror with me, and this is the one that I'm definitely going to bring them out to see. So
Oh man,
I
nice.
appreciate you both taking the time. I'm big fans of you both, and I'm excited to
Oh,
do it again sometime soon. Hope we get to talk again.
thanks,
Yeah,
brother.
man.
Thank
Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
you,
Kevin.
brother.
man.
Thanks,
Thank
William.
you.
Appreciate you. Such a pleasure to meet you both. How are you today?
Doing
Pleasure.
great.
A pleasure's mine. I'm so excited to talk to you about it because I love this fucking movie. It was so goddamn cool. So I'm
Thank
excited to
you.
talk to you both about it. And Catherine, I'll start with you if that's right, because obviously a big part of Sammy's character is her tattoos, right? And we hear about it in the film and how it sort of informs her character, right? But I'm curious to know how much that helps you get into character when you're sitting in the chair getting those tattoos put on you. Do you have a favorite tattoo? And did you design any of the tattoos yourself or make a
Oh
story
my
for them?
gosh, we could talk about this all day long. No, but I did have so much fun I mean, it's all because of Matt and Tyler. They didn't say no. I was like, I think I should get tattoos. Suddenly I have sleeves. You know, like you give me an inch, I go a mile. My favorite tattoo was drawn. It was a heart with a poodle because I had to sneak a poodle in there. I love the dragon tattoo because it's ridiculous. I had some anime eyes on the back. My favorite thing though was, you know, hair and makeup is doing everything I want, but they're not going to tell me it's a bad idea either because they don't want to hurt my feelings. And I was like, I want to put I'm going to say a bad word. Is that okay?
Please, by all means.
Okay. So
I
was like, I want to put fuck mom on my hands.
I thought it was fuck mom.
It says fuck mom because my character has a bad relationship with her parents. And the hair and makeup was like, it might be a bit much. You know, they're Irish, they're very sweet. And then we do the screen test, and I go to Matt and Tyler, I'm like, well, I guess you guys didn't want the fuck mom? And they're like, what? You want to put fuck mom? They're like, we love the fuck mom. And so it was like, first day of shooting, we put the fuck mom on there, and we drew it on, and that one was semi-permanent, which I was kind of excited about.
It was on in the evenings when we went out for dinner.
And it was the coolest thing about me for like 6 months. But it does get you in character, and I think that character, Sammy, is just a little bit of, you know, what I want to wear all the time and just don't, you know? It's expression. I expressed my inner punk. It's not very punk. Punks out there, don't get mad at me, all right? I'm just having fun.
Punk's still in. Punk's still in. And Dan, I want to ask about Frank as well, because I love the most interesting I've read about Frank is that inspiration came from the most interesting place of I think you should leave.
Best show
Real
ever.
piece of shit.
Probably just doesn't like me because I used to be a piece of shit.
He likes you. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it. I know I used to be a piece of shit. I don't give a rat's ass.
He's a real piece of shit.
He was a real piece of shit.
He's a real piece of shit. I had watched that skit in leading up to this because I was like, I need to watch it again. But I'm curious to know where the most interesting character inspiration is this the most interesting character inspiration you've ever had, or where's the most unexpected place you pulled inspiration from?
Oh gosh, I mean, for any character or for Frank or
for any character, yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I think for the Beast, for Beauty and the Beast, my son was about 2 at the time, and I used to watch his like tantrums, and incorporated a lot of like toddler tantrums into the Beast.
Wow, that's cool.
The best thing I love about Abigail is that it reminded me how much fun horror films can be. They don't have to be all doom and gloom and sad. Like, they can be so much goddamn fun. So I'm curious to know what you guys think, like how comedy and horror kind of seemingly opposite genres work so well. And is that a Matt and Tyler thing, do you think?
Yeah, it's very much their kind of thing. And I mean, my personal reaction to horror is laughter anyway. So I find horror films kind of like
makes you nervous and you like
yeah, I guess it's nervous laughter. It's sort of like a kind of protection, but I also just enjoy when filmmakers go there, when they show you something really batshit and it's like, I don't know, it just makes me laugh. But Matt and Tyler, they produce a very particular kind of horror comedy that, you know, really treads the line between the two, and there's like great zinger lines peppered throughout. There's also just like insane amounts of blood and gore that, you know, really challenges a lot of other filmmakers out there, you know, in terms of volume of blood used.
I love it. Guys, I'm getting the wrap now, so I have to wrap up what I have to say. I'm a big fan of you both. Kathryn, I love Freaky. I thought that was great. And Dan, I genuinely think The Guest is like one of the best thriller films of the last 20 years. I love that movie so much. So I appreciate you both taking the time. I'm a big fan of you both, and I hope we get to do it again someday soon.
Thanks very much.
Matt, Tyler, it is such a pleasure to meet you both. How are you today?
Really good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
I am genuinely such a big fan of you guys. I first found you guys at VHS, and I've loved all your work since. So I'm excited. And Abigail is fucking awesome. I love this movie, so I'm excited to break it down. But what I love about your work, and Abigail especially, is it always reminds me that horror can be fun. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. It can be so much fun. So what's the recipe to success in taking what seems like two opposite genres in horror and comedy and melding the two together?
I mean, for us, and we agree, by the way, the horror movies we grew up on were fun, and the ones that we loved and gravitated towards, and I think that's what we're hoping to do too. And for us, it's really taking those genres, but making sure that it's the character first, and that if you're on the ride with the character, whether they're in a heist movie or whether they're in a vampire movie or both, that you will go through what they go through, and that by making those characters really good and really universal and something that everybody can relate to something about, that walks us through the horror. It walks us through the comedy. it gives us a playing field that's really, really filled with things to experiment with to get all those genres to feel like one.
Oh, that's awesome. And Abigail definitely feels like that. I'm curious from a filmmaking point of view that, you know, there's rhythm to editing, there's rhythm to directing, but you obviously add dance in where rhythm is everything to that. So I'm curious to know what that process was like of adding a next layer of rhythm into these action scenes. How did that work from a choreographing sense, from an editing sense, those things?
I mean, I think that it was so fun to have that tool at our disposal. I mean, and it was an idea that was kind of ever evolving over the course of the movie. You know, there are two very specific sort of dance, I guess sort of 3 dance sequences and then bits of dance incorporated throughout. And it always felt like a way to make this movie feel very singular. And we talked about that a lot, you know, when during the chase scenes, during the attacks. How do we design these moments to be something that feel totally bespoke and could only happen in this movie? And the dance element was really a significant part of making this movie have the specific flavor that it has. And it was also just amazing to get to work with a choreographer, somebody who speaks this language so fluently. And then you have 2 cast members in Alicia and Kathryn who are also both just wildly fluent with dance. And I think that they unlocked so many things for us creatively in the making of this movie, and they're all surrounding the idea of dance. It was really, really fun to get to be a part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm getting close to wrap, so I want to ask. I just spoke to Dan, and I was asking about the I think you should leave inspiration. The real piece of shit guy. He's a real piece of shit.
Oh, I miss those nights. I was a piece of shit, though.
Used to be.
I said what?
That's not slick back. That's pushed back.
You look like you have slick back hair now.
You think this is slicked back? This is pushed back.
It's pushed back. I literally watched this skit last night and prepped for this. I was like, I've got to watch it. It's so good. But I'm curious to know, because it's such an unexpected area of inspiration for his character. So I'm curious to know, from a filmmaking point of view, is there a shot or anything you've done in your entire filmography that kind of came from the most unexpected of places? The one thing that you wanted to reference that people will go, oh, okay, that's what that reference is.
Oh, geez, that's a great question. Anything come to mind? I feel like
no.
I feel like we do it sort of by accident a lot, where we'll do something and then either while we're actually filming it or sometimes even in post, we'll go, oh, this is because we love whatever movie. That's where this came from. Now I get it. You know, it's like kind of reveals itself to us a little bit. I can't think of anything that we've knowingly baked in.
Yeah.
But
except for the Tim Robinson, straight Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
rip off in Abigail.
Yeah, except for that. Maybe that's the answer. Right in front of us.
I'd love to see what would happen if a baby was put into Frank's hand, just to see what he would see about
the baby
his...
definitely doesn't think that Frank can change.
Yeah.
We will say that.
Guys, I'm getting the wrap now. Like I said, I love this movie. I'm a fan of your filmography. I'm a big fan of you both, and I hope we get to see many more exploding bodies in times to come. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope we get to do it again soon. Thank you very much.
Good to meet you. Take care.
You as well. Take care, guys.